Definitely a good egg.
Really good. Well, let's get Joe McElderry in. He's in the waiting room.
Perfect.
How are we?
Really good.
Really
How are
good,
you
thank
doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Were you just pushing the little dog or something?
No, it was it's a laptop bag. I realised it was a
How have you been? What's been going down?
Yeah, good, thanks. I've just been busy doing festivals and gigs all summer and enjoying the sunshine like everybody else. How about you guys?
Pretty much
Really
the
good,
same.
thank you. Yeah, been enjoying it well until today. What's the weather like now? Storms where you are?
No, it's boiling today actually. It's come out really nice again. It was raining last night, but it's good again up here.
We're having it torrential down here, so but I think that's good. We need it. So
Well,
no complaints.
I mean, I have had my email from the waterboard saying hosepipe ban on Wednesday.
Okay,
Thunderstorm.
same, yeah, same.
But hey ho, that's life. So Joe, congrats on the tour. I wanted to ask you, I'm like literally the biggest George Michael fan. I wanted to marry him actually, never happened obviously. I wanted to ask you though, like how important was he to you, obviously to be doing a George Michael inspired tour?
Well, I got obviously I got to stay with him on the show, but previous
Yeah, such a moment.
my mum was a huge fan of him growing up, so I kind of grew up with all of his music anyways. So I knew all of his songs from being a kid. She always had his CDs playing in the house and things. And then obviously through her love of him, I kind of, when they said, you know, Joe, you're going to sing with George on the show, I was like, oh my God, because I knew how much of a legend he was. Because I suppose I was only 18 at the time. And he hadn't released a lot of music in the years of me growing up, so I'd kind of grew up with all of his old material. But I knew through my mum how big of a deal it was, and I knew he was a legend. And I remember phoning her, and she was like, I don't believe it. She was like, I don't believe that he'll come on the show and sing with you. I was like, oh, thanks, mum, that's great. But yeah, to me, he's one of the biggest and best, you know, male vocalists of all time, and certainly to come from the UK. So I feel honoured that I'm getting to do this. I am nervous because I want to do it justice, obviously, and I wanted to do it properly and pay homage to his music properly. But it's really exciting, and obviously to be able to perform those kind of songs, which are just absolute, you know, every song is an incredible, either an up-tempo banger or the most beautiful ballad.
Yeah, he really did smash both, didn't he? I mean, there was like, he really never put a foot wrong. So you're kicking off in September, is that right?
Yeah, so we're doing the first night is kind of an up close and personal, like it's almost like a test show really. We're doing it at Wasdale in Canary Wharf on September the 30th in London, and then we head out on the main bit of the tour. It opens in Harrogate on the 8th of October, and we go all the way through October, all over the UK. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. We start rehearsing in a few weeks. The set list's done. It's ready, and we're now like all the arrangements are being made as we speak before we start rehearsing. So it's super exciting.
And are you taking inspiration from like the iconic outfits from like the Wham days and George's days?
We've done like little nods to it. You know, I've had some meetings recently with what we're going to do. We've got the leather jackets up there, the denim jeans.
You can't not have a leather jacket, can you? Come on.
But I've put a little twist on the jackets, and we're doing some things like, I kind of want it to be, you know, obviously it's not a tribute show, it is me in concerts and stuff, so I kind of wanted it to be an element of what I would wear with little nods to kind of his fashion throughout his career. So we've got kind of a mixture of both, and obviously the show's in two halves. So there's definitely a few outfits to be explored.
She won't be dressing up as a policeman.
The outside video, now there's a look.
Aren't they?
I mean, do you think I could pull it off?
Absolutely. Yeah. Coming out with your truncheon, of course you can.
Oh, yes.
And you need some spangly urinals and things as well, don't you, if you're going to really go for the look. I mean, it was quite a look, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a conversation the other day of whether to wear sunglasses. I know obviously sunglasses were his trademark, and I was like, I mean, I wouldn't wear sunglasses on stage, but I was like, maybe the sunglasses need like just maybe even if it's just a 1 minute moment for people to kind of get a photo on one of the reveals of the outfits, then maybe we'll do this. So we've already had a few sunglasses options of how that could be worked into the show. So it's you know, we all gonna have a bit of fun with it as well.
Oh, amazing.
It's obviously been, since your time on X Factor 2009, a long time, you've obviously managed to keep a career, a sustained career, and do really well for yourself. And, like, how do you think you've managed to keep it up so well?
Do you know, it's a funny question, that, because I suppose obviously, like, the first thing that you would see is, like, hard work, you know, and that's kind of the first thing is that I love my job, therefore I kind of put a lot into it and I do work hard. But I think a lot of it is more than that. You know, we all know how the industry works. It's a bit of a luck. It's a bit of being in the right place at the right time. I'm also very blessed that I've got a brilliant audience that have stuck by us through the years.
Yeah, it's quite. You can really see that. Like, and that doesn't happen often.
Yeah, and I really do attribute to kind of my success to that kind of being the main reason is that I was blessed with a very from the get-go. I was blessed with such a supportive fan base that really have stuck by us, you know, and you know, you can put things out, you can put albums out, you can put tours out, but if you don't have that core fan base that kind of keep it going through the kind of highs and lows that everybody goes through their career, then it is very difficult, you know. So I would say that's kind of the reason. I've been very, very lucky with a wonderful supportive fan base, and I do kind of owe it to them, really, because, you know, yes, you can work hard, but there's so many more elements to it, and, you know, the music industry is a crazy place to work. It's fast changing, it's ruthless, it can be brutal at times, so I am lucky that I've got them.
So obviously, winning X Factor, how do you feel like to hear the rumours that it's coming back after, I think, 5 years of having a little bit of a break? Are you excited to see it back?
I mean, there's a lot of rumours circling at the moment. Obviously, I've been reading kind of all sorts of stuff from it returning to kind of expose documentary.
Oh yeah, the documentary really.
Type of things. It's I love the show. It was a great platform for me. I hope if it does come back, I hope they do make some more changes to kind of make it a bit more of a safe space for artists in terms of the way the contracts are formed and the aftercare of the artists and things like that, because I think, you know, back in the day, we're hearing more and more stories about how people kind of suffered on those shows, and not just X Factor, lots of other reality shows as well, you know, it's not just that one. So, and I do think there are changes being made, but I still think there's a long way to go. So I hope if it does come back, it's made in a safe place in the artist's interest that are going on with the show.
Do you feel that yours weren't necessarily always catered to during your time then?
I just think, you know, we've, you know, it's nearly
different time, yeah, different time, I guess.
Yeah, it's 13 years ago. Social media, to put it into context, you know, the year I did X Factor, they handed us mobile phones and said, oh, there's this new social media app come out called Twitter. So that sounds ridiculous to say now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That was literally, Instagram didn't exist then, TikTok certainly didn't exist, and I suppose with more and more social media platforms coming out, it does allow people to kind of have that ability to kind of, you know, portray their message on their own platforms and speak how they would, whereas before, you would only kind of get that forum on a radio interview or a TV interview. It's kind of give people their own forums to speak, which is a great thing. You know, in terms of people kind of speaking their truth and saying what had happened with it. So, yeah, I mean, it was just a massive show, you know, and there was so many kind of parts to it that the audience don't get to see, and that is a huge part of that is just the music industry and the entertainment industry. And I do hope, you know, I am noticing small changes. I think we've got a long way to go yet, but we're certainly on the right way to kind of having more conversations in terms of contracts being more favoured towards artists, and people are now calling out obviously streaming platforms to kind of pay artists fairly. So hopefully the more and more conversations that have it should all kind of across the board be better for those the performers, the ones who are out there doing it, you know.
Like you say, some shows are better than others with their duty of care, some good, maybe some not so good. Do you think the way social media is now really makes it crucial that people do from these big shows have a duty of care? Because it's everyone has a mobile phone now, don't they? So it's not even just hearing something in the media. The minute people turn their phone on and look at it, it's instant feedback, isn't it? A minute an episode goes out, thousands of people, millions of people can be in touch within like 3 minutes.
Yeah, and you can find out, you can find out what everybody thinks of you literally in, 30 seconds by typing your name in on an app, typing your name in on Google, typing your name in on Twitter.
Dangerous times.
What?
It can be dangerous times, can't it? Go down that rabbit hole.
Some people can really cope with that, and some people can like, I've always found it quite, not easy, but I've kind of found it very much to have a black and white approach on it, in the sense of that I can't just shut off and just go, I don't want to know. I'd rather not know, but then I do know, people really struggle not to want to know, and then, like you say, you get sucked down that rabbit hole of it, becomes addictive, finding out all of those comments, and you could have 50 incredible comments of people telling you you're the most wonderful person, talented person in the world. One person says something bad, and that's the one you hold on to. It's human nature. So it's, I do think, but I think the social media platforms need to be accountable for things like that as well. It's not just the television companies, it's across the board of all sorts of things. There needs to be more, kind of tougher measures on social media to stop people even being able to write things like that.
I couldn't agree more, babe.
We talked a little bit about the top of the show, actually, the sad news about Darius passing away. Did you know him? Did you ever come across him in your time?
I met him once or twice, actually, because we both did the same television show. He did the first series of Pop Star Opera Star.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And then I did the second series, and so I met him a few times, and I actually saw him in a few musicals that he did. Such a talent and such a lovely guy. So sad. Such a young age as well. It's tragic.
Yeah, I think so many of us were shocked to find out the news, weren't we?
Totally. It's such a loss, and I was just looking actually today, like, so many friends that obviously knew him a lot more than I did in the industry, having so many wonderful things to say about him and how much of a lovely person he was. So yeah, I just thoughts go to his family. It's awful.
Yeah, it's been a proper endorsement of his character, isn't it? That we were saying how he managed to really completely transform what could have been the end of his career right at the beginning of it into something that was really successful, and he did incredibly well. So yeah, he'll be sadly missed.
Yeah.
So your tour, you said end of September, and then when does the tour officially start?
So we start on the 8th of October, and we go right the way through I think we finish on the 30th of October, and then I go straight into Pantoland, straight into the world of Panto in Newcastle, back home, which will be lovely. So it's going to be a busy couple of months, but it's so nice to be kind of, all through the summer, being back out, performing with audiences at festivals, prides, and seeing people all, singing and dancing again. It's lovely.
Couldn't agree more. Joe, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Really appreciate it. Always good to see you, and best of luck with it.
Thanks so much, guys.
Take care, Joe.
Bye.
No worries, mate.
See ya. Bye.
I mean, George Michael, that is going to be some gig, I can imagine.
Oh gosh, yeah. And just the back catalogue of music that he's got, like, just incredible. Like I say,
Incredible.
The biggest fan of him. I still can't believe he ain't here anymore. Do you know it?
No, it's
certain
been a long time
people
now,
that pass, and you're like, fuck,
Yeah,
what a
yeah,
waste.
Yeah, very sad. Our final guest, Dan Rhodes, magician extraordinaire, TikTok star, is here, so let's get him in.
Let's do it.
Hiya, how are you, mate?
Good, thank you. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad.